Today on Ask This Old House.
We've actually done this story before, you and I. I've tried to teach you.
Try?
What's that?
That's PVC.
That's PVC.
Oh, you want the fitting name?
Come on deeper.
That is a...
This floor has a few chips in it, and I'll show you how to fix them. Luckily, you saved some of the flooring that was left over in the basement.
That might be the best thing I see all day.
And you'll never guess what damaged this Paver walkway. I brought my apprentice along to show you how to fix it.
We really got to pack that down. You don't want it settling out again.
That's next on Ask This Old House. Hi there, I'm Kevin O'Connor and welcome back to Ask This Old House. You may recall that earlier in the season we launched an initiative that we are calling Generation Next. And it is our attempt to call attention to the shortage of skills in the building trades. And it's also an opportunity to maybe recruit some young people into the trades for a good career and a potential alternative to college. We did a national search and we found 3 young, very capable candidates, Nathan, Austin, and Bailey, and we invited them on to our This Old House project. They've been working with us long and hard, and recently, Richard, you actually gave us sort of a plumbing 101 to the 3 of them.
I did. It was great. They were really smart. They picked it up. It was really terrific.
And even though most of them are doing carpentry, those 3 at least, it's good that they know something about the plumbing.
You got to know everything about the building. You can't just know one part of it if you're going to be good in the game.
How'd they do?
They did great. They were very smart. You know, but it reminded me that we've actually done this story before, you and I. I've tried to teach you.
Tried? Why do you think that?
What's that?
That's PVC.
That's PVC.
Oh, you want the fitting name?
Come on deeper.
That's a T-wire, right?
T-wire, all right, not a wire, T-wire.
T-wire, right?
What's that?
That's an elbow.
Elbow, but what kind?
A white one.
Fit elbow. How about that one?
Sweep? A big sweep?
Long sweep.
Long sweep.
Right.
That's not
Long sweep, T-wire.
Long sweep.
What's
T-wire.
that?
Wait a second, that's not PVC. That's a silcock.
Frostproof.
Frostproof silcock.
It is.
Wait, you didn't beat up on them, did you?
No, just no more than normal.
Good, terrific. Well, you know, the apprentices aren't just working with us on the This Old House job site. Roger's actually been working with his apprentice, Corey Forrester, for the better part of a year now. And Corey started down the college path, but he soon decided it wasn't for him. So he left school, and he now splits his time between being a Marine reservist and working on Roger's landscape crew. And today, Roger's actually bringing Corey with him on a house call.
Corey, I got an email from this homeowner and I thought you might be able to help me figure out what his problem is. Now, we got a nice set of granite stairs and we come up to a paver walkway, but look at these pavers. They've all moved and slid and they're really dangerous the way they are now. What do you think caused it?
Could it have been water?
Well, if water did it, it would have to be a real strong gushing current, and I don't think that's the case here.
What if the water froze and went up and down with a thaw?
Yeah, it would only move it a little bit if it did that, and it's opened it up quite a bit right now.
Yeah.
So what I think it is, chipmunks.
Oh, really?
Yeah. See this, oh, look at the huge hole.
You think they're still in there?
I doubt it. Look at that trail, Corey. See where they bored right through underneath these pavers?
Oh, yeah.
No wonder they settled. They make 2 types of burrows.
Okay.
One of them's really shallow in an area like this with a lot of ground cover, so they can come in and out and not get eaten by a hawk or a fox or something like that.
Okay.
But they also have another burrow probably 15 to 30 feet away from here that's 1 to 3 feet deep, and that's where they winter over and store their nuts and everything for the whole winter. So I think the first thing we should do is tie the shrubs back so we can actually see what we're working with, and we'll go from there. All right, Corey, that looks good. So I'm gonna pick up some pavers. I don't wanna take too many, I just wanna go to about there. So I'm just gonna take the first one out and stack it up here, and then I'll put all the others behind it in sequence.
Okay. Want to just take a picture of it so we know where it's going?
That would be a great idea.
Got it.
All right, Corey, let's take a little of anatomy lesson here of what we have. We have stone dust, which was a base for the pavers.
Okay.
Then under that, there's a little bit of stone layer in here, which is good for drainage. But what happened was, as these pavers opened up, all this loamy material gets in the cracks, and that's not good because it's just going to lead to weeds and more expansion.
Okay.
You want to take that and put it in a bucket.
Want to tackle all your home improvement projects with confidence? Join This Old House Insider, a new streaming service from This Old House, the iconic Emmy-winning series that inspired a generation of home enthusiasts. Stream over 1,000 episodes of This Old House and Ask This Old House commercial-free. Watch it all in the This Old House app and join live online Q&As with our experts. Best of all, you can try Insider free for 7 days. To join, go to thisoldhousemembership.com.
Corey, this feels like it's kind of crooked here, and I just want to take a couple measurements and see what's going on. Okay, these pavers measure 18.5 inches there.
Okay.
But when I measure down here, it measures 22. So we're off 3.5 inches. So what we're going to do is try to clean this out all the way through down to the bottom of this piece of granite and then push the granite forward.
Corey, we really got to pack that down. That's where that big hole was, and we don't want it settling out again.
Sounds good.
All right, Corey, I got the iron bar on the piece of granite now. I'm going to try to slide it. When I get up there, I want you to measure. We want it to be 18.5, I think, right?
Yep.
Okay, you ready?
Yep.
There she goes. A little more.
So a little more to go. A little more. One more.
All right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Corey, I want to fill in this gap with pack. Now, pack is simply stone dust and stone mixed together, and it will compact and give us a firm base. So we just take and go along there and bring it up to the level of the stone dust.
Sounds good.
All right, Corey, we're up to subgrade, so what we're going to do now is spread a little bit of stone dust for these pavers to sit on.
Okay.
Normally, if I was doing a walk like this, I'd come in and get the whole thing dug out and then leveled and put pipes up and screed it off, and we'd drop these in really quickly. But unfortunately, we have to set every one of these separately because we're going to have 2 points we have to meet, the existing walkway and this granite step. So we're going to start out here with this one and work our way back, leveling each one to the walkway as we go.
And looks like this one's next.
You sure?
Yep, got the picture.
Corey, you're going to take and spread that stone dust on top of the pavers we set. It's going to fill in the joints, and that'll keep weeds from growing.
Roger, this came out great.
Well, we're not done yet. We have to think about the problem we had caused by...
Those chipmunks.
That's right. They bored underneath, and the whole thing settled.
Could we prune back some of the bushes so that way they have no place to burrow under?
Well, these people have a very naturalistic landscape here, and I'm sure they want to keep it that way, so that's not going to be an answer here.
What else could we do?
Well, if I was building a vegetable garden and wanted to protect it from the chipmunks, I'd use this hardware cloth. It's about 1/4 of an inch mesh. They can't chew through it.
Okay.
But you want to dig down a foot and have a foot out, and that'll keep them from trying to come in through the bottom.
Oh, okay.
But I can't get this hardware cloth to fit down in there.
Okay.
But I think if we mix up some concrete and pack it in there, that'll stop it.
They won't bite through that.
I don't think so.
All right.
Front part. I'm just going to cover the concrete with some of the stones that are on site. So, what do you think?
It looks great. It's like we were never here.
More importantly, it looks like the chipmunks were never here.
Exactly.
Thanks for your help. You did a great job.
Thanks for bringing me along and showing me what to do.
Got a little cleanup to do down here.
All right.
Doesn't matter who you are, new guy always cleans up.
Always
right?
got to clean up.
I tell you, I would have been with Corey. I would have said water, frost heaves, but you go right to chipmunks. How's that?
Over the years, I've had the experience. In fact, I've had them twice rip up my front lawn. So I know when they're around.
Yeah, I mean, and I guess we see the damage more, it's more obvious when they hit walks and walls. If they just burrow into the grass.
You're never going to see them.
Right.
But out front, it can even cause trip steps and things like that, which are dangerous.
So Corey had suggested maybe pushing the ground cover and those shrubs back away from the walk. You think that's a reasonable solution?
It'll help because they don't like to be exposed. A hawk can grab them, a fox or something like that. So the more you cut it back, you create open space. They don't like to go across that. They try to burrow around it.
Okay. You did concrete, you used wire. Obviously, we could have done trapping or exterminating. How about the repellents? Are they effective?
They are. Most of them are labeled to last for 30 days, but if you get a rainstorm, it's going to wash them off and you have to reapply.
Ah, so if you go with the repellent, know that you're going to have to stay on it and keep at it.
Again and again and again.
All right, well, great to see you working with Corey. He's a good guy. And a
Yeah.
phone trick, you like that?
Yeah, hey, just happened to think it'll work on this.
Yeah, I think you and Corey should probably get together on, you know what, just keep them close.
Okay.
Thank you for coming, Tommy. Welcome to our home.
Well, it's a lovely home, and thanks for inviting me. How old is this house?
It was built in the 1860s, and we've been here for about 14 years.
Well, that's great. I live in a house in about the same period, but I love these floors. Wide pine, random widths, face nailed, really nice, and it's a great color. And you can see a typical Yankee patch right there. If something had to be patched, they just took short pieces. They didn't care if they matched or anything, and face nailed them. It gives the floor character.
It definitely does. I actually wrote you about some flooring. Can I show you?
Lead the way.
Thank you. As you can see, Tommy, this is the old part of the house, and this is the new addition of the master suite.
Yeah, I can see the old section here has those beautiful old boards, random width. They look really nice.
We would have loved to be able to carry it through into the master bedroom, but we didn't have enough, so we added new pine here.
New pine, random width, very nice.
And we decided, once we added this, we wound up with a chip in the floor and a squishy floorboard.
Oh yeah, I saw it move. Well, it looks like you got someone tried to patch this area right here. I got a silly question. Would you happen to have that chip?
We do.
You do? Wow.
We weren't sure what to do with it and hoping to be able to fix the floor at some point.
Well, let's see how it fits. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's nice. I can glue that right in there, and I'll show you how to do that. And we can fix that, but it'll be a little different way. Let me get some tools and we can get started.
Great, thank you.
Okay, now before I glue the chip back in, I want to refasten this floor back down to the subfloor. So I want to try to do this without seeing the fastener. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a drill and I'm going to drill a hole right through the chipped out piece and then drive a screw in there. Now we're going to use a polyurethane glue, and what I want to do is I actually want to put some water in the hole because that will make the glue activate better, not only for the wood but for the screw. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is take some of the glue and drive it into the hole. That's running down there, which is good. Take my screw, put it into the hole, into the wet glue, and drive it down. That stopped the floor from moving.
That's great.
Now I use the polyurethane glue in the hole because it will expand on itself. It'll also glue the screw to the wood. But I'm going to use just a carpenter's glue or a wood glue. And I want to try to get it in there to cover all of the raw wood. I'm going to slide it in. Push it down. And take a wet rag. I want to wipe off all the excess because I don't want it to show.
That's incredible. It's as good as new.
It's good as new. So I'll just hold that down for a little bit till the glue starts to set, and then we can work on the next one. All right, now we're going to patch this section of the floor right here, but it's going to be patched a completely different way. Because there's so much damage, I have to cut out this section of the floor and insert a Dutchman. Now a Dutchman will sit on a mortise that doesn't go all the way through the board, creates a shelf that a thin piece of your flooring will sit on. Now, when you're trying to patch a floor, it's important that you have the same kind of wood, and luckily you saved some of the flooring that was left over in the basement. You first want to match the grain, not the stain. So if you look at the grain of the floor right here, it's nice and tight and it's darker. And it's opened up a little bit here and really opened up here. So what I did is I looked at your boards and I cut out a section that has a tight grain to it right here. So when I look at that grain, it's similar to the grain right here. If I turn the board over, this is an open grain and that patch would really stand out. Now when I stain this, it's not going to stain exactly the same. It never does. So what I'm going to do is I want to cut our Dutchman out of this piece right here. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this tongue off and true up this one edge. So I've straightened out that edge with my plane, and now I want to make the strip about 1 inch to 1.25 inches wide. Okay. So eyeball that, and make a straight line. Okay, so now I've got a rough cut there, and I want to true that up with my plane. That's better. Now what I want to do is I want to try to make it thinner.
Okay.
So I'm going to rip it down this way and make it thinner.
That might be the best thing I see all day.
Really? All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to true this up. See how it's uneven? Mm-hmm. So I'm going to put a straight edge on this side,
okay.
Straight line to follow here, and the same thing on the other side, like that. Okay. Now I'm going to take my plane and try to make the board equal in thickness. Okay. All right, I've cut my Dutchman to rough size, okay. Width, thickness, and squared one end.
Okay, that's impressive.
Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I want to get a length for my Dutchman. So I look at the damaged section of the floor and see about how far it goes, and I'm going to go just a little bit further, and I'm going to mark the length.
So you measure that first? You don't measure the floor?
Nope, I'm going to cut the patch to size. Once I cut the patch to size, I'll lay it on the floor over the damaged section, trace it, okay. And mortise out the floor.
Okay.
Lightly score it. Cut my length also, mark that. I'm going to need to remove this section of the floor and down almost the thickness of this piece. Now I could chisel it all out, but what I'm going to do first to save a little time is I'm actually going to use a Forstner bit, which actually leaves a flat bottom at the bottom. All right, so the mortise is cut.
Okay.
Now that it's cut, I want to see if my piece fits in it. And it's going to go in like this, because that's how I cut it. Now that fits tight. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to plane just a little bit off of one edge, because I want it to slide into that opening.
Okay.
So I want to pitch it slightly to bevel it so that when it goes in the hole, it'll be loose at the bottom but tight at the top. I'm going to drop it into the hole.
Look at that. That's incredible.
It's pretty good.
Oh, it's beautiful.
All right, now before I glue it, I want to take it out and put some stain on it, because if I get glue on top of the surface here, the stain won't take.
Okay.
All right, so I have to take the piece out. All right, when you have soft wood like this pine, it's always good to use a pre-stainer, so that way the stain will be more balanced when it's on top of the surface. All right, it's been about 5 minutes, so now we'll wipe on some stain. Wipe it on, put it on a little bit heavy. And we'll just let that set on there for a few minutes. See, if I leave a little bit of it with the texture of the rag, I actually put a little bit of a grain in
Oh,
it.
that looks great.
Okay. And I just want to get the sides and the bottom of the raw wood all covered. All right, so we've got all our raw wood covered with glue, and now we're going to set our Dutchman in the mortise. Push it in, make it flush.
That looks great.
Thanks. Now we'll take a damp rag and wipe off the excess glue. All right, Manny, your patch is in and it's all stained. What do you think?
It's absolutely incredible. If I didn't know it was there, I would have to look really hard to find it.
Well, that's a good thing. All right, that's all we can do today.
Okay.
Now what has to happen, the stain has to dry overnight.
Okay.
Next thing I want you to do is tape around the border of it with some painter's tape, and then put about 2 or 3 coats of poly on it. Okay. Remove the tape and it should blend right in.
Okay. Thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Next time on Ask This Old House.
Cutting and drilling masonry materials may be hazardous to your health, but new technology is out to solve that. Look at the end of the shank.
Oh, no way.
This is my problem right here. Last few weeks, the toilet's been getting really wobbly, and I just put that in there for a short-term fix.
And we'll meet up with maker Jimmy DiResta for a very unique build-it. Thanks for watching. This Old House has got a video for just about every home improvement project, so be sure to check out the others. And if you like what you see, click on the subscribe button to make sure that you get our newest videos right in your feed.